So, a very good morning to all. So, today we'll be discussing about first unit in computer organization. So, before going for a first unit in a computer organization, you must know the basic topics. So, for that, I am explaining a simple block diagram like that. So, here, so we have a processor. We'll be having an input devices. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. So here, ma'am, let us consider that this is a processor. So inside a motherboard, we'll be having a processor. So inside a processor, we'll be having three types for a CPU. Can anyone three types?
Register cache memory.
Yes, a not registers, correct. Cache memory comes under memory. Okay, so ALU,
CPU,
CU, and
reg- register.
register. Okay, so this you must know what happens when you give an input. This flow, if you know, then I can start explanation of unit 1. Okay, so whatever the programs that you are writing will be stored inside a memory. Okay, so this that you can give your programs with the help of external peripheral devices called input device, or if you want to see your output, you will be using an output devices. So let me take input. So you will be having an input device. So some, it will go directly some instructions, or else it will be going to, if it is a huge, then definitely you have to store it inside a memory. It has to be stored inside a memory. Then it has to go to processor for execution. Then it goes for output device for displaying, or or it gives a result. Okay, so let me give a directions. Okay, so let me explain with an example clearly. So if you are strong in this unit 1, then you can understand the remaining topics very easily. And if you are facing any problem while explaining, just unmute and ask that we are unable to understand. So let me start with the first one, the input. So I have what are the different different components that we are using. I have given, like, we'll be using an input devices, we'll be using a processor, we'll be using output device for displaying the, what happened, what ma C7.
Nothing, ma'am.
Okay, we'll be using an output device for showing the output, and we'll be using memory for storing the data. Okay, now is the first question. So we'll be using an input devices for storing your data. Okay, so for let us suppose I'm writing one program. So let us consider the program is of 1,000 lines. Okay, there's 1,000. What program that you are writing is some kind of a program. Let us consider, for sake of simplicity, you're doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, division in a single program. So that program, whatever that you have written, next, after writing the program, I want an answers, ma'am. You have written a program. Let us consider one language called a C program. You have written a C program for performing arithmetic and logical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Yes, you have written a program. Then after completion of your program, what you will be doing, ma'am? Next step is what? You will be doing compilation. So you will be compiling. Okay, so once if it is compiled, if everything is okay, then the data, it will be storing inside a memory. From that, it will be executing everything. So why there is a need of compilation, ma'am? Why there is a need of why you are going for compiling?
For debugging.
Yes, for debugging. Yes. Why? Because when you are writing a program, if there are any kind of an errors, like if you are missing any semicolons like that, so it will show an errors. So to check, you will be using a compiler, and again this is used for converting the language that you have given to the system understandable language. Okay. So here, let me explain in this point of view. Whatever the input that we are given, the entire input will not go directly to the processor for execution. It will be stored inside a memory. Okay. So it will be stored inside a memory, and next is what? From this memory, instruction by instruction. What is this instruction? Madam started talking about instruction is what? A program. First, before going for a program, let me start with the software. Okay. Can you tell me different types of softwares that you know? A software. So if I say about a software, so you'll be having two types of software. So what are those two types of softwares? One is a system software, and the other one is a application software. One and the other one is a application software. So system software is what? A system software is a software like can you give an example for a system software?
Operating system.
Yes, a good one. So the example for system software is a what type of operating system that you are using. This is a system software. Application software is of the what you want an applications to be running. So based on that, the particular application software you will be installing. Like if you want to execute a C programming, C programming related softwares will be installed, like Java. So these will be considered as a software. So when you are coming for our programs, these are nothing but you will be writing a programs, and it will be executed, and you will be getting a system on. So what happens internally is it takes instruction by what is instruction? It's nothing but a when you go for a we are writing a program. The software is nothing but you are writing a software is nothing but a program, right? You are writing to operate according to what you want. You are writing a program, so the program is nothing but a set of instructions. Means what? So you will be giving here as, if it is C, you will be giving as, you will be starting with a main function. So I'm not writing a preprocessor, all those. So you will be writing with void main, and you will be starting with declarations of variables that you want to use. So int I, like that. And next, if you want to go for an addition, you will be writing for something a plus equals to a plus b. Okay, like this you will be writing. So this entire will be stored. So this one will be called as an instruction. This one will be called as an instruction. So instruction is what? Actually, instruction is a order, though, so given to the processor to execute. First, do you try to initialize? You are writing a program. It is nothing but a set of instructions given to the processor to execute. Given to the processor to execute means you are writing int I. Means what? You are saying that I should be placed with the size of if it is latest or the previous one, consider the I as 2 bytes or else 4 bytes, like that. So what data type that you mention, based on that, that size will be allocated, and when this turn comes, it will be executed as a instruction. Its program is nothing but a set of instructions. These instructions, one by one, a processor has to execute, and after execution, it has to store back the result to either to the output device, or if it is not needed, I want afterwards, means it will be stored inside a memory. So this is a concept. So let me explain here. We'll be having an input devices, whatever the data that will be entering. Example, I have considered a program. So whenever you're writing the program of a line called 1000 lines, this program will not go directly for execution. It will be stored inside a memory. Okay. Now, after storing inside a memory, whatever the program that you have written is of 1000 lines. So let us consider there are 1000 instructions in a memory. So those instructions will not go one by one instruction to the processor for execution. So it will not go at a time. It will be going one instruction at a time. Okay. So now after execution, Finally, the result either will be stored to the output device or it will either stored inside a memory. This is a common approach that we'll be discussing. So for that, we need to know about, in order to do this, we need to know about what happens in a processor, what will be the memory, how it looks like. Okay, so let me start with a how a memory looks like. Okay, so let me start with a introduction to memory. Okay, so let me go for a memory. Okay, so first question for a memory is, you will be having a memory with some size. Okay, okay, and you will be having an address. So this is your memory with the with either it stores an instruction or a data. So hope everyone knows that inside a memory, you'll some part you will be storing an instructions, example for instructions will be add a comma b. These are some kind of an instructions. The other part, you will be having a data. Means what? So for data, let us consider a will have a value as the data as 10. For b, we have our data as 20. Okay, this is data part, instruction. And even we have a stack and a heap. So we'll be discussing about stack also. Stack. Okay, so see here, these are the basics that you must understand. These are the basics that everyone has to understand. See here, we'll be having an instructions, we'll be having a data, some portion in the memory will be storing an instructions, some portion is used for data, some is used for stack. Okay, so now is a question, so what is the purpose of a stack? Okay, what is the purpose of a stack? So let me explain with an example. So see here, this is a memory. So now, if a processor wants to execute an instruction, let us consider, I will start with int a comma b comma c equals to a plus b. Let us consider. Okay, so here this is the first instruction that the processor has to execute. So this will be located in the instruction portion. This instruction will be located in the instruction portion. Let us consider this is located in this location in a comma b comma c. Okay, so in which location it is located, we need to specify an address. Like we are staying in some locations, right? So if you say where do you stay, means you will be staying as Uppal, we'll be staying in Uppal, we'll be staying in Anandbag, like that. So in the same way, so if a processor wants to execute this instruction, it has to get an address. So let us consider the address is 200. The address is 200. So in a sequence, you will be getting an address. Next is 202. So why I am writing 202, why not 201 is that, let us consider it is of integer is of 2 bytes, so it occupied 2, and next consists of next 2 more bytes. So here I am writing the next instruction called c equals to a plus b. Okay, so this is a common approach. Okay, so memory means you must know about an address. Concentrate, ma. Memory means you must know about this is an address, and you must know about the data and instructions. So this is instruction. So next, these are, you must know the difference between an instruction and the data. So here this is a instruction. So when you go to that again to this locations, you will be getting a data. You will be getting a data, but leave about that. So I will be talking as a data only. So this inside part will be considering as a data, and the outside part will be considering as a address. Now, how many bits we need to specify? Whatever it may be, a data or an address, the processor is a head. right? So the processor is a head, so processor has to fetch, and processor has to fetch an instruction. So in order to fetch an instruction means what, to get the, it has to go to that particular address and it has to take that instruction and it has to execute that. For that, processor will maintain some set of registers. We already discussed initially before 5 minutes processor parts. So we'll be having how many parts? We'll be having, one is ALU. Now I need to concentrate on which part? Yes, ma, I need to now concentrate on which part? Registers. Okay, so registers. So what are these registers actually? Okay, registers is nothing but it is used for storing a data or an address. Okay, so registers, it will be residing inside a processor, it will be residing inside a processor, and it stores either a address or a data. Okay, so again these registers will be having a general purpose. Two types of registers will be available in this. One is general purpose registers and the other one is special purpose registers. Okay, so today we'll be discussing about a special. General purpose registers is used for general operations like R1, R2, R3. All these will be considering as general, but we need to discuss about a special purpose register. Okay, so first special purpose register is PC. Why I am saying a special purpose register is these registers are meant for supporting the processor. Okay, so first is PC, which is program counter, it stores the address of next instruction that the processor has to execute. First is a program counter, it stores the address of next instruction that the processor has to execute. Let us consider currently the processor is executing the instruction which is present in an address called 200. Okay, so what will be the program counter address? It stores the address of next instruction that the processor has to execute. Means it will be storing what, which address? It will be storing which address?
202.
Yes, good. So it will be storing 202. Okay, so currently the processor is executing an instruction which is an address located at 200. So the program counter will automatically increments by 1 once this instruction is currently executing. So it stores the next address which is 202. Now let us consider this 202 is given to the memory address register. Okay, so let us consider you will be having a address registers. Okay, you will be having an address registers. The currently executed instructions address will be giving to that, and next it will be incremented. Now let us suppose the processor executed this 200 instruction. Next, the processor is executing now 202. Means what? Automatically, program counter has to increment to the next address called 203. Now it has to place the address as 203. So program counter is what? It stores the address of next instruction that the processor has to execute. And next one is sometimes it won't be in a sequence. Sometimes it won't be in a sequence. Like what? Can you tell me when your program instructions will not be in a sequence? Will you execute your program sequence or is there any jump like that? In which cases your program will be not executing in sequence? See here, ma. You'll be having. Yes, ma, very good. So when there are unconditionals and when there are unconditional gem and when there are functions. So if there is a function call, so like here I am writing a example. So let me take an example. So when there is a function call, so you have written int a comma b and you have written c equals something, c equals to some logic you have written. Then finally you are calling some function. will, after the function, whatever the line that you have written will not be executed. It goes to the function call. So in that case, automatically incrementing the program counter will not work. Okay, but 80% of the time, the program counter, it stores the next address that the program that the processor has to execute. Next is what means it will be incrementing +1. So program counter is it increments +1, so that if processor is executing 202 instruction which is there in that address location, this instruction, it automatically increments this and it will be 202. In some places this will be cleared, and if there is a function call, let us consider sum, and this sum is there in the location, and if the sum is there in the location 500, and next after this instruction 204 we have something printf function. So what happens? I want an answer. What happens? The processor is executing currently 203 instruction, 203 address loan instruction. Now the what will be the PC address value? Will it be 204 or will it be 500?
204.
Can anyone? See here, ma. See here. This is a code. Okay, this is your instruction code. So once they in the program, once this encounters, will you execute the next instruction printf? You will be jumping to some function, no? Means it has to place 204 address for processor to execute this next instruction, or do we have to place 500 address?
500 address.
Yes. So that's the reason that though you need to concentrate more for this subject, ma. But if you can understand, it is very easy subject and you can score maximum marks. So what I'm saying is, for every memory, you will be having an address and you will be having an instructions, and in some part you will be having a data. So whenever there is an address, see here, whenever there is an address, in this address 200, this instruction is processor is executing. Happy birthday. So this instruction processor is executing the next address, it will be stored in a program counter. The next instruction that the processor has to execute means ready bit call. Processor program counter is what? It is a special register. It is a special register. So it is used, special registers are used for supporting the processor to execute the program flow execution smooth. So once a processor is executed, next whatever the address which is there in the program counter will be shifted to the address register. From that it will be executing. This all I will be explaining. So next instruction, it should not keep 204 as an address, it should keep as 500, so that after completion of this it goes to this. And next let us consider, I want an answer from you, ma'am. Let us consider this is 600 and it is saying a return. So what happens? So return to you will not have a return. So here this is closed. So it has to return to the location. Can anyone? Once is encountered an address called 600, what should be the program counter value? This is completed execution. Next is program counter should be ready with the next instruction. What should be the next instruction address? What should be the next instruction address, ma?
204.
Yes, good, very good. So it is 204. Program counter, it is 204. Why? Because the processor started a main program from here. So it started executed until here, but when it encounters 203 address, whatever the instruction it has, it got a function call. So it jumps to that particular address with the help of the support of a program counter, and after that it returns to where it stopped. But how a processor or how a program counter knows that it has to go to a 204, not not the other address internally. We have to know, no, for example, I have started correction, so I have a money, I started counting until 20, someone came to your home, so you stopped. So once you stopped, you should know from where you stopped. Everything has to be in sequence, right? So for that, there will be a concept called a stack. Okay, concentrate, ma. If you are having any doubts, this is a basic one to understand the concept of. Still, I have not started our course, but this should be the basics for you to understand. So let me explain the concept of stack. Till now, what I explained, you'll be having a memory, and I started with a special purpose register called a program counter. So program counter is what? It stores the address of next instruction it has to execute, and that the processor has to execute, and the feature of that is it automatically increments by one. Next is what? So let me explain. So here we have a 200, here we have 201, here we have 202, here we have a 500 address. Next in this we have some instruction, something a comma some instruction. Here we have a some function, and some function started here, and it has to return. This is ended here, this is ended here. Okay, so when it ends here, it has to start with this. This is a flow which is very important to understand. See here. So first initially, now tell me what will be the initial program counter value, ma? Program counter value.
201.
Yes, ma, good. But let me explain. Still started has processor has not started any instruction. Okay. Still processor is not executing 200 address instruction. So what will be program counter first? 200. Okay. Initially, processor is executing some other instructions. Now it will give information to program counter register. If you place, it knows that the processor has to start from here. So for that, initially program counter is started with an address 200, so that it goes to that location, and from here this address once will be going for address register. So memory address register is what is current instruction address. So current instruction address will be stored in a memory address register. Once a processor is ready, whatever that we have in a program counter will be shifted to memory address register 200. Once if it is shifted, parallelly what program counter will do, it has to place which address now? It has to place which address, ma, now? Currently the processor is executing 200 address. Now program counter has to store the next address 201. Okay, why? Because 200 you have given in the current memory address register. So processor is currently executing 200. Now we need to place 201. Okay, now completed. Now 201 you placed in a memory address register. Now 201 you placed in a memory address register. Now in this you placed what we need to place in this? Do we need to place the next instruction? As presently the processor is executing 201. Okay, the next it has to place what? Is it 202 or is it 500?
500.
Yes, ma, good. So it is 500. Okay, this is 500. Why? Because when it execute, it will processor will understand that it is a function call. So the next it has to execute is not the next instruction that should be ready is not 202, it should be 500. So it will be placed at 500. Okay, now before, listen, concentrate, this is the topic which is very very important. So before jumping from, after completion of 201 to 500 address, it has to know that the processor has to know that it processor has stopped until 201. So for that, what it will do is it uses a concept called a stack. It uses a concept called a stack. So what it will be doing, it pushes the next instruction that it has to execute inside a stack. Means when it is jumping from 201 to 500, the next address after returning from that call function to the main function, it has to know that this 202 has to be executed. So it pushes 202 address inside a stack. Okay. So now after pushing, the steps is whenever processor is executing a function call instructions, and when a processor knows that this is a function call, automatically program counter will store that address. But before going to that jump to that particular address, it has to store the next instruction after coming. ఇక్కడ నుంచి వచ్చిన తర్వాత what will be the next instructions to be executed, means that address has to be pushed into the stack. Okay. Now if it is in 500, now let us consider it is 504. Next 500, it is given to program memory address register. Next it has to place what, 504. Next 504 given to memory address register. 504 given to memory address register. Now what will be the program counter, ma? What will be the program counter? 504 is currently the processor is executing the instruction which is present in this address. So what should be the program counter? What should be the program counter? ఏమైందమ్మా? Hello, am I audible? What should be the program counter?
600.
600. Finished. So now this instruction is also executed by the processor. Next, program counter will give 600 to execute. Next, now what program counter will be there is, first in order to place a value, means what, a function call, whenever there is a function call, it executes in sequence like +1, program counter +1, like 500 501 504 like that. But when a sum function completes, it has to return back to where it stopped. For that, it has to place which address? Aim address పెట్టాలమ్మా ఇప్పుడు after execution of 600. It has to go to the main program execution where it stopped. Means which address we need to place in program counter? Which address? 202. But how a program counter from where a program counter gets this 202? From stack. Okay. So whenever function call completes, so when before jumping to that particular location, it pushes the next address into the stack. Next, when it goes to that particular function call, it completes the code, entire instructions which are present there. Next, after when a processor is executing the last instruction which is present in the function call, program counter should be ready with the where main program it has stopped. For that, program counter has to pop the address which is pushed when you are jumping. So aim pop cheyalama manam, we need to pop 202, so that when a processor completes this execution to 600 execution, the processor will execute next 202 instruction. Are you getting, ma? Should I repeat once again? Should I repeat once again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me explain clearly once again so that you can understand. So, but this is one which you should understand for first unit, then only you can understand clearly. Okay. This is very, very, very important. Concentrate now, ma. Again, I am repeating once again. Please concentrate. As everyone is good in a programming, First, let me talk about memory. So, memory, some part you will be having what, ma? Chepandamma, memory. Some part you will be having instructions. Next, some part, what happened, ma?
Data.
Data. Next, some part used for stack. Okay, let us consider this is the format. Okay, now for this, commonly will be for every memory you will be having an address. You will be having an address and you will be having an address and a data. Okay, so based on an address only, whatever the address we have, based on that you must know the difference between an instruction and a data. Instruction is you are giving a instruction like int a comma b. Data is nothing but if you are giving int a comma b, it is an instruction. So c equals to b plus c is an instruction, but coming to a equals to 10, it is also instruction, but this is the data. Okay, means what, a will be located in some location. So let us consider, as the data part is in the middle, we have considered, so let us consider 300. You will be having a data as 10. So that is the data, the values that you are giving for the variables that you have used, for the operands that you have used in the program, is a data, is a actual data. Instruction is like c equals to a plus b, like c plus plus, I equals to I plus 1. These are the instructions. These are the instructions. Data is what is I value is a data. I is, let us consider inside this I location, whatever the address we have, you will be having a 200. So this will become a data. You must know the difference between what is an instruction, what is a data. Is the operand's value is actual data. Okay, now let us consider, so whenever you are going for execution of the processor will use a special function registers. Okay, special purpose registers. So a register, cpu will maintain two registers. One is general purpose registers, which are generally used for execution purpose, and special purpose registers, which are specially meant for supporting processor to execute very fast. Okay, so for that, the first special purpose register that we discussed is program counter. Program counter. Program counter is what? First, initially, let us consider we have an address here called 99 is an address. Okay, so in this address I have given an instruction called int I. Okay, so processor is executing some other task, that program counter should be ready with what after execution of that, what the next instruction that it has to execute. So program counter is placing 900. So it is placing 900 means after completion of this, it will be placing this to memory address register. So from this memory address register, it will execute. Okay, so for that, so soon after completing this, the program counter, which is the next instruction that it has to execute, will be placed in memory address register. That indicates that currently memory address register, if it is having 99, means the processor is executing this instruction. So I should not, no more I should not place 99. Why? Because it is currently in memory address register. Means what? Processor is executing now this instruction. Now I should be ready with next instruction. So if I am giving if I am preparing a dosas, and if I am giving one dosa to A, then I should be ready with the next dosa to prepare, right? So what I have to do, I have to remove this 99. I have to keep the next address. So let us consider the next address is 100. So I have to be ready with 100. Again, if this is completed, if this address is given to memory address register 100, then should I keep in a program counter still as 100? What we have to place?
No, next number.
Next, which is 102. So you must know the difference between a memory address register and a program counter. Memory address register is a address where in that address whatever the instruction is there, that is currently executed, that is currently the processor is executing. Whereas this whatever the address we have in a program counter is the next instruction that the processor has to execute, is the next instruction that the processor has to execute. So I explained about program counter very clearly. But before going for a program counter, the first step for a program, the features for a program counter is it will automatically increment by 1. Okay, plus 1 or by 1 means by 1 means don't consider if it is 100, don't consider it will be 101. It depends upon the data type that we used. If we used a data type and if we are in 100, the next plus 1 indicates it is 108. It is 108, but it is plus 1 indicates it is executing in sequence. Okay, means if 100 is let me show with an example. Try to concentrate, ma. It is very, very, very important. If this is clear, so I want to go for 1 by. So here is 100, here is 101, here is 102. Ikkada call ochindi. Call. So it will be going for 200. Okay. So by default, what is program counter is it stores the address of next instruction that the processor has to execute as definition. Now next is what it automatically increments by 1 means if it is 100 now, if it is given to memory address register, it will be incremented by 1, it will be incremented by 1. It is like sequence. Okay, so it follows a sequential approach. So when it will be going for the instead of sequential approach, when it stores the other address, in which case instead of 103,
When there is a function call.
yes, don't consider only function call. When there is a loops also, when there is a unconditional jumps also, conditional jump law, you will be having a condition, right? So I don't want to go in depth now. Again, you will be feeling that the subject is very complicated. So like if you will be saying some condition, no, if A is greater than B, then you try to complete this instruction. Else you try to complete this instruction. So if it is false now, will it be in sequence? Will it be in sequence? We need to skip this all. Alright. So if it is false, if it is true, then it will be executed in sequence. If it is false, then we need to execute these instructions, right? So for that, so maximum of the cases, program counter will automatically increment by 1. But for some cases called subroutine, we'll be calling as not function call, subroutine call. When there are cases called subroutine call, unconditional jump, and conditional statements, in such case it will not be going in a sequence, program counter in a sequence.